Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new video and welcome to round 3 of course here back at the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix of our F225 Leo Fornaroli career mode. Yes, we returned this time out of course ready with the feature race. If you missed out on the video that went live yesterday, go back, check it out. It was a very, very good one. I mean, Jeddah and sprint racing is always going to be chaotic, isn't it? We are just 6 points behind Arvid Lindblad now in the championship, and with the British driver way down the order, ready for the start of this one, there is a big, big opportunity. Obviously, myself, Gabriele Mini, Victor Martins, all hoping that we can try and be in the fight this one. 14 more laps ahead of us, though. Get yourself subscribed if you're new. Hit that join button if you want early access to future videos inside this series as well. But yeah, let's head down to the track.
Greetings and welcome to Jeddah for what promises to be a thrilling Formula 2 race. So an interesting circuit, Jeddah. Like some other street circuits in the Formula 2 calendar, it's likely to present a formidable technical challenge with a number of challenging turns for our young drivers to master. Plus, it's a hot track, and that high temperature has some big implications for tyre performance that they'll need to keep in mind in order to secure a good result. As the engineers make their last inspection of the cars, let's take a look at today's grid order for the race. Victor Martins lines up on pole position, and it's Rafael Villagomez in P2. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Miata, Crawford, Amory Cordial, Goethe, Bennett, Pepe Marti, for sure, Gabriele Mini, Fornaroli, Dunn, Joshua Dirksen, Roman Stanek, Miney, Browning, Shields, Sami Megatunif, Montoya, Lindblad, Esterson, and Dino Beganovic completes the grid. And now it's time to head down to the track.
Well, here we are then, back down on the grid once again here for the F2 feature race, back on these Saudi streets. Team believe today the one stop is obviously the way to go, but starting on the super soft tyre. Of course, we did that in Bahrain. It worked out quite well for us, but all the AI went the other way. Will they do the same here? I don't know. We'll find out in just a moment. But of course, yeah, we took the super soft 10 laps yesterday in the sprint. They were sketchy by the end of it, so happy that the team only wanted to take them 6 today, but I'm actually going to allow Roman Stanek to go for the earlier pit stop here. We're going to try and half this race stint, and hopefully we can try and get a big result out of it nonetheless. I've got to think about the constructors a little bit. I know it's not the most important thing in Formula 2, but that is exactly what we are going to do. 14 laps ahead of us, 5 red lights, 22 cars. Oh, and a massive hold there before racing will commence. Looks like Alex Dunn just alongside me has had a good launch, as we will try and stay on the outside line in towards turn 1 there. Try and maybe have a look around the outside of my countryman Gabriele Mini there through that first corner. Oh, Mini getting the elbows out. Wants to try and defend that spot off the start here. Nice and easy as we make our way in towards the S's for the first time. Richard Verschoor there immediately trying to have a look past Pepe Marti as we wind our way through. Oh, who's going to come out on top in this one? Looks like it's going to be Marti this time. Oh, that's an opportunistic move down the inside of Gabriele Mini. But we have made it work then, straight up into the points in this race. So every place now that we gain will be a huge, huge boost in terms of the World Championship. Arvid Lindblad, like we said, way down the order. So he is going to need a miracle today if he wants to score points. But, I mean, we saw John Bennett, I think was 4th on the grid, able to take the win yesterday, so it is certainly possible to get some overtakes done around this circuit there. As you can see, Alex Dunn still just behind Gabriele Mini as we wind our way out to the back straight. I believe it's Rafael Villagomez, though, that's taken the lead from Victor Martins off the start as well, so very, very good start for him. So I just see they're trying to hang on, the car with a bit more fuel than at any other point so far this weekend, so it does take a little bit more to get used to. But now then, DRS has been enabled in this race, so we've got to try and start thinking about where I want to go for moves. We learnt yesterday where we are quite strong around this track, but I've got to be a little bit careful in this early stint. Obviously, tyre wear shouldn't be much of a concern, but we do want to look after the super softs to make sure that we can really go all out on that pit-in lap later on. Otherwise, the AI, some of them might be able to get a bit of an undercut on us. I mean, obviously, if Roman Stanek isn't able to get up into the points anyway, it'd have been largely irrelevant, and then I might well go back to being a lot more selfish in future races as well. Like I said, the Constructors isn't really something, you know, that matters too much in F2 or F3. All the drivers are there for their own cause, of course. So, you know, it's kind of an afterthought, I would have thought, for most teams and drivers, or most drivers anyway. The teams do care about it. It's all Pepe Marti!
Okay,
What am I meant to do? Pepe Marti locking up. Is that going to be a safety car? I don't even know if we get safety cars in FIA Formula 2, but we picked up front wing damage from it. Well, the track is most definitely not clear, and well, that is a huge, huge shame for us then. So we're going to have to try and pit early in this race, but everybody further behind then is going to be massively strung out here. But I thought safety cars and that like that were on inside this series. I'll have to double check my game settings, but if that doesn't bring one out, I don't know what will. I think what we'll do is dive into the pit lane at the end of this lap, because this front wing damage is not good at the moment. But with now an 8-second gap to Sami Megatunif in P10, this race might suddenly become very, very lonely. Well, we are going to need a big, big miracle then if we want to try and get back in towards the fight at the front by the end of this race. But come the end of lap 3 though, diving, well, into the pit lane. That is not the way in, but we get it slowed down just about. Maybe cross the white line there slightly, but hopefully the FIA won't comment on that one. There's new wing going on the car as well. I think we might have been one of the only drivers that picked up front wing damage in all of that, so this is going to be a very, very slow stop here, because of course it's the same people that have to put the front wing on as the wheels. And look at that, 13.3 seconds. Which apparently is an optimal pit stop with these cars as well then. So Roman Stanek, there's not a chance he's going to score points all the way down in P19.
Okay,
but yeah, we've just got to really focus now.
Let's
just try and keep the car somewhere in between the white lines. But 14 seconds up to Key and Shields. Let's see what we can do. Well, these, of course, are our first laps then. I was going to say.
So don't waste time fighting. Bring your tyres in gently and let's go for it.
Yeah, we've got to try and bring the tyres in quite gently at the start of this stint. But, of course, these are our first laps all weekend on the medium here. They should be a pretty durable compound. Jeddah isn't normally a particularly bad track for tyre wear. But F2 and F1 are whole different beasts. We are taking a fair bit of time, though, out of Key and Shields already. So maybe if we can undercut up towards the front. I'd have to do about a 15-second undercut, though, wouldn't I? So we were about 9 seconds back, and I probably lost a good 6 or 7 as well from that longer pit stop. So, I mean, purple immediately. That's all we can really hope for. Well, we are going multiple seconds a lap quicker than Key and Shields at the moment. That gap now down under 9 seconds, as we will set a new fastest lap of the day. So, see, I don't know how aggressively the cars at the front of the order are battling. What's also quite cool, though, with these F2 cars is you can hear them around the other side of the track. Kind of forget just actually how narrow a profile this entire circuit is built on. Yeah, you can just hear them in the background winding their way down the back straight. That, of course, isn't really very straight around here, but yeah, we are making good ground as well. We run a little bit wide through there. I think the medium is just a much better long-term tyre to be on, so we're able to push it. Sami Megatunif, oh, that's a big disappointment for the Trident driver. So both Tridents, I believe, this weekend have suffered mechanical failures, but for Sami Megatunif, he gained a lot of places early on. And I mean, well, and Mechachrome giveth and Mechachrome taketh away inside this game. Finally, we've got some cars diving into the pit lane then, so it is going to be interesting to see where they are going to re-emerge in this race. Don't quite know how long a kind of a standard pit stop would take you around here, but we have definitely made a lot of progress against a lot of cars. So, I mean, if we'd listened to when the team originally wanted me to pit, we would have had to come in early than everybody else. So trying to get an undercut anyway here. So clearly the team don't believe I'm that good at looking after the tyres. But as, yeah, those cars towards the front of the order then making their way back out of the pit lane.
Okay,
we are going to be ahead of a few people. But of course, yeah, none of the cars I really wanted to be ahead of us all. We got yellows and Dino Beganovic for the second weekend in a row with Span. And, well, I've kind of flown through there just because I looked at the rears. I was able to avoid that one. But why aren't safety cars coming out? Oh, as there we go, our final few cars then peeling into the pit lane. So the likes of John Bennett and Ollie Goethe have definitely been slowed down over these last couple of laps. And we are only about 6 seconds away There's Arvid Lindblad, I believe, the last car into the pit lane. So what position are we going to be back up to then? We are going to be into 8th place then in this race. So, yeah, still 5 seconds back behind John Bennett, but he seems to have been disconnected from Ollie Goether's slipstream as well. And our pace is still looking pretty good. Well, we are trying to be as smooth as we possibly can with this Invicta car at the moment. But we are still closing in on John Bennett there. A few more of the AI in front of him now, beginning to battle a bit more. So I think that's Amaury Cordial as well then, battling with Ollie Goether. So even if we can just get closer, if we can just get into the DRS range of those cars. I mean, for some reason, Mark wants us to dive into the pit lane again. That definitely won't be happening, but look at the run we're able to carry when I get the car balanced beautifully over those curbs. We basically gain the speed through the corner and never really lose much of it again down the straights. Well, there we go then. You can just see with 3 laps remaining now, Goether and Amaury Cordial started to battle a bit more, and that has brought John Bennett back into their fight. But all 3 of these guys now really beginning to trip each other over, and that is allowing us all to close in. Maybe taking some liberties there with track limits slightly, but just, yeah, as the tyres begin to fade. I just want a chance. I want something else to happen inside this feature race here. These races are normally action-packed from start to finish, but when you get someone spin out in front of half the field like that, no wonder the field gets quite spread out. But I think, honestly, had that not happened, we probably could have had the pace today to fight for the victory. But at the moment, it looks like it's going to be an ART 1-2. So I don't even know whether it's Miata or Martins that is leading the race. But both of them can really do with a win here today. As out of the final corner, Goether and Amaury Cordial again wheel to wheel on the long run there. Look at that, John Bennett now trying to make it 3 wide as they head in towards turn 1 there. I believe that Goether has made it through there, but still Bennett and Cordial wheel to wheel. Well, on the exit of turn 1 and turn 2. That's just our tyres now really starting to give up just a little bit there. They're still wheel to wheel though, as we will send it down in towards these S's. We know there's some time to be made. They are still side by side as we wind our way through. Amaury Cordial, I don't know how he's managed to, but he has hung on that time round against John Bennett. And look at that now, the gap down to under a second. We have not given up in this feature race today. Any extra points could be so useful come the end of the season. Let's not forget, if we score 6 points here, then we should be tied with Arvid Lindblad. But I think, obviously, if it's going to be Victor Martins that takes the victory, he will be up to the top of the championship. Joshua Dirksen out of the race later in the day in his AIX car. Not too disappointing there for him, because he wasn't going to score points anyway by the looks of it. But yeah, Trident and an AIX then out of today's race. But look at still how much we can take out of Bennett and Cordial. Let's not forget, we are on much older tyres, and these two aren't exactly the highest rated F2 drivers either in the world there. Bennett, can he have a look to the outside of Cordial in towards the final corner? Nope, he'd rather just push him along with 1 more lap to go then. These tyres have not got much left in them, but we have got to try and give it everything here. It is still those ARTs at the front of the order, but now they're starting to battle with each other a little bit. So I'm sure ART, they will be a little bit nervous back down on the pit wall. There's John Bennett again, just opting to sit behind Amaury Cordial. By the time they get down towards turn 1, he clearly wants to wait to line up a move a bit later on in the lap. But I can only assume that Ollie Goether now was broken free from this little battle pack behind. This is what happens in Formula 2. The cars tend to cluster up a little bit, and then you get little groups that form. There is the stricken AIX of Joshua Dirksen. I mean, look how committed we are over the curbs. But look how much John Bennett now dropping away from Amaury Cordial there. This is not what he needs on this last lap. It's not really what I need either, because Bennett will start to hold us up more and more through this final lap here.
Behind, 52.4 seconds.
It really has not been a good day for Roman Stanek. Not helped, of course, by getting stuck behind 2 spinning cars. Can we get a run, though, now on John Bennett as we make our way down onto the first of the back straights? Of course, we were 3 wide into the final corner of the sprint race yesterday. Could we be 3 wide again in the feature race today? As we try and throw the car through. We need a big, big run. Just like keep it inside track limits. Looks like Bennett might be able to get a run on Cordeal, but I'm not going to get a run on John Bennett unless they go side by side. In towards the final corner, we have pushed all race long to try and get closer to these guys. It's not quite going to happen though, as I try to get maybe alongside Bennett through the final corner. 14 laps of pushing. It's going to be Rotoma Miata though that takes the win. We will only come through for 8th.
Okay, pick up rubber and bring it home.
What a great drive. Rotoma Miata takes the checkered flag.
It's so easy to mess up a call like that, and whatever you do always seems wrong, but they made it work, and that's the important thing. A full points tally.
An amazing race today. And the team, they worked so hard all weekend to get the exact right setup out of the car. The results speak for themselves. ART Grand Prix, your winners today.
Well, look at that then. 0.02 of a second between Rotoma Miata and Victor Martins by the time they got to the flag. But it is going to be Rotomo that takes the victory here today. ART, I mean, a photo finish like that I'm sure will stick in the memory of fans for a long time to come. But yeah, I'm sure Martins a little bit disappointed not to get the dub there. Jack Crawford in third ahead of Rafael Villagomez. Amory Cordeal just behind Ollie Goethe, with Bennett, ourselves, Vershaw and Marty rounding out the top 10. I mean, on the one hand, gutted that we couldn't quite get past Bennett or Cordeal on that final lap. On the other, we were 9 seconds behind the lead by the end of lap 3. Despite taking the front wing, we still went 3 seconds closer come the checkered flag. So the pace was real today. And we pick up a bonus point for the fastest lap as well there. What does that do to our championship standings? Well, I think that's going to mean now Victor Martins at the top of the table ahead of Miata. So ART now 1 and 2 overall, as Arvid Lindblad drops down to third, just 1 point ahead of ourselves. Goethe still in P5 ahead of Gabriele Mini and Kush Miney there, with Marty, Rafael Villagomez and Luke Browning rounding out your top 10. Still though, Sebi Montoya, Alex Dunn, Max Esterson, Kian Shields, Sami Megatuniv and Dino Beganovic yet to score a point. Constructors-wise, ART, though, no shock there, up to the top of the championship, ahead of Campos, Dams, and ourselves. We're still 7 ahead of MP Motorsport, as Van Amersfoort and Prema tied on 36 apiece. High-Tech and Rodin tied on 19 points apiece, with AIX and Trident at the rear of the field. Thank you all so much for watching. Hopefully you've enjoyed. If you have, like I said, please do make sure you leave a like, get yourself subscribed to the channel, and we'll be back next weekend when Formula 2 returns, I believe, out at Imola.